I can't believe I did that. And I can't believe I did that or that. What was I thinking? What's up? This is Ray with Get Real Way, a place and space for life and business tips from this creative soul to hopefully inspire you on your journey, or at the very least provide you with some laughs. Oh my goodness, let's get real.
Craving real advice? Tired of feeling like every other small business owner or solopreneur is raking in the dough while you just seem to be raking? Secretly looking for a reminder that starting your own business is not as glamorous as others make it look? Whether you're looking to change the game in your relationships at home or at the workplace, you've come to the right place. My name is Ray. I went from corporate America to running my own small business to becoming a solopreneur. I'm a professional actor and, dare we say, a professional busybody, because this body is about to be busy all up in your biz. So let's get real.
Okay. So, I don't know about you, but I use YouTube a lot. Okay, so why? Because like you could just, look, if I want to know how to use a piece of software, instead of going to that company's website and trying to find my way through these long, over detailed explanations of how to use things, I'm just like, oh my gosh, get to the point. Like, I shouldn't have to be searching through all this stuff. I shouldn't have to flip through a multi-page manual or decipher these photos. And it's just too much. And so I can go on YouTube, and with a quick little search, I could probably find somebody doing what I need them to know how to do in like 5 minutes. And even if it's a longer video, usually there are chapters. And so you can kind of skip ahead and find what you need and then be on with your life. I'm a busy gal. I run multiple businesses. I got things to do. And so I also used to use, well, I guess I still do. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say used to. I also use YouTube for inspiration. So I want to say maybe like 2019, 2018. At the time, my spouse and I were living apart. I was like, I can't live in this city no more. It's turning me into like a really angry person. And I just hated living in this space where I felt like I was surrounded by haves and have-nots. And I was a have-not. I, couldn't afford to eat out lunch every day. And some days it was hard just to get enough money to get on the subway. The place we were renting, maybe the neighbors were noisy, and just feeling like I was always working just to pay my rent. It's crazy. It's like, how are we a 2-income household and yet I'm broke as a joke? And so, yeah, sometimes he was broke also, sometimes he wasn't. Which, how are you a 2-income household and yet sometimes one of you is just straight up poor? Don't understand that. But anyway, I was just like, okay, I can't live in the city anymore. I have to move. And actually, this needs to be a whole other video. I think I'm gonna do another video about my marriage at my former marriage at some point. But my partner at the time was just like, yeah, I actually can't afford to live here anymore either. And me being the, people pleaser, let's solve it person, I was like, okay, I think this is going to be good for both of us. Let's live apart. I have friends who have done it and they've been happily married for like decades. So we can make this work, babe. Right. So I moved to this other town and I was just able to focus on my bills. And I was also able to focus on my own mental state. Okay. So I would often have inspirational messages on YouTube, affirmations playing in the background at night when I was going to bed. The TV was in the room, but I could hear this like sleep channel, I am worthy. Life is abundant. There's enough money for everyone. So I just have this playing, and I was like, yes, I am worthy. Life is abundant, right? And I think I'm one of those people who believe there's more than enough money out there for anybody who wants to get it. Yeah. And so it all comes down to a matter of knowing what to do and wanting to do something, right? You can know what to do and not want to do anything, complain all day about being broke. Bet you know somebody like that. Sometimes I'm like that too. I'm like, man, I know I really need more money. And I'll find myself online searching to these job ads and stuff like, wait a minute. Instead of doing another side hustle and, getting a new job or going back into the regular workforce with 9 to 5, what am I doing with what I have, with what I know to make more money now? Am I doing anything? So I always have to kind of come back to that. So, I surrounded myself in this home by myself. I don't have any kids. I think I had one cat with me at the time. So in this home within my cat, me and the cat, surrounded ourselves with these positive messages just nonstop. And I don't know if this started with the pandemic or if it was before the pandemic, but I also found myself, I didn't want to watch TV. It would just have these affirmational messages. But at some point I was like, you know what, let me check out this whole YouTube thing. Which you got to think about that was 2020 was a pandemic. So it was around somewhere between 2019 and 2020, 2018, 2020. If I'm like, let me check out YouTube. I am so late in the game. But I came across some financial videos, and one of the financial influencers I came across was Graham Stephan, and I thought, okay, this young guy, he seems to be having some interesting things to say. I was also finding myself getting fed up listening to Dave Ramsey podcasts. I was like, Dave, it's the same kind of people who always call, and you're always telling them like, shame on you, go live in your parents' basement and eat ramen. And I'm thinking, no, at like 50 years old, you should not be living in your parents' basement and eating ramen just so you can pay off your bills and get your stuff together. Like, your parents have their own bills. So this is not good advice. In my book, this is not good advice. You need to suck it up, buttercup, sell your stuff, live in the smallest place as possible, and pay your bills, but not because you're living in your parents' basement. And as someone who has tried to survive off of ramen, not every digestive system agrees with that stuff. And after a while, if you're eating the same thing over and over, after a while, like, your body starts to seek out nutrients that it's not getting, and it reacts in a bad way. And so this to me was just like, okay, I am sick of this advice. This is not good advice. I hate your baby steps. Go away. Yes, I have a problem with the Dave Ramsey. And I did try his daughter's book or blog, yeah. Rachel Cruz, I believe her name is. And she just said the same thing her daddy said. And I got a problem with her too. But maybe that's another video, is me complaining about all the bad financial advice I got over the years. I think that's a good idea. But yeah, I'm listening to this guy. He's like, I used to be in real estate, and now I've got these YouTube channels, and I make my iced coffee myself at home, and I'm super cheap. And they were quite entertaining. And then after a while, it wasn't as entertaining. And I found myself stumbling across people like, is it Matt? Oh dear. Matt somebody. I want to say Matt Lapina, but I don't think that's not him at all. I think that's somebody else. So Matt somebody and Thomas Frank. And so then I started coming across these people who weren't necessarily giving financial advice, but they were giving life advice. And then, when we were all on lockdown, I found myself getting into these videos about how to, re-nourish your hair. And so I just started slowly being sucked into all these different little niches. It's like, yeah, I want my hair to look cute like hers. Okay. Yeah, I want my finances to be fixed. Yeah, I want to maximize my day and be amazing and all the things, right? The perfect life. The perfect life is waiting for you on YouTube. And after a while, I did things that I didn't really, they seemed good at the time. I was like, yeah, I think I'm look into that stock. That seems like a good idea. And look into that company, and that seems like a good idea. Do you see a problem? Do you see a problem here? And so I'm going to put that on pause. I'm going to put my problem on pause because I want to take you to this idea where my niece and I were talking, and my niece said, well, you know, I don't really know what I want right now, and it seems like, why go to college when you can just learn everything on YouTube? And for someone who doesn't know what they want, don't go to college because you're just wasting money, okay? If you can afford, like you're still living at home or something, and you can afford to do a community college to really explore your interests, great, because college will expose you to a lot of different options and opportunities. But if you were just willy-nilly flowing through the wind like, I don't know, then you don't even need that. Just go get a job somewhere and start to really figure out, do you want to be an employee? Do you want to be an employer? Is this the kind of company you want to work for? Do you want to move up some corporate ladder? Do you want to be the manager of this fast food place or restaurant? Do you want to actually not do any of that and just bartend and travel the world? Really learn about yourself. And so when you are working and learning about yourself, it's an opportunity to make money and to figure things out, okay? When you go right off to a four-year college and you have no clue what you want to do with your life, you are not making money. You're spending money while you're trying to figure things out. And then you wind up with all this debt, and then you complain about it, or a degree you don't like, and you complain about it. And then you have a midlife crisis when you're 40, and you're like, I need to change careers because I got this degree in this thing I didn't really want to get a degree in because I didn't know what I wanted to do because I didn't think I would figure it out. Yeah, just saying. So, any hootie how. Fast forward, I'm talking to one of my friends, and she's in South Korea, and we're talking about how a lot of young people are trying to kind of skip steps, right? And she's in the medical profession, so we were talking about the dangers of being in the medical profession and having like a doctor like Google your symptoms and then tell you what they think you're sick with. And why would I go to a doctor for that? Because I can go online myself and talk to Dr. Google. I don't need somebody who has a license in the medical profession using Dr. Google to tell me what's wrong with me. And Dr. Google be wrong sometimes. You know what it's like. You over there like, my head hurts and my tummy's a little upset. And then Google's like, you have syphilis. Like, what? How do I have syphilis? It's just a little headache and a tummy, and then you think you're dying. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So I would never want to go to a doctor who just got their education through YouTube. Wouldn't do it, okay? I would never want to pay a lawyer a ton of money to defend me. The lawyer who just got an education from YouTube. There are just some professions where going and getting a college degree says to me that you have studied, you didn't do shortcuts, you have studied to gain an understanding of information. And yeah, there are some people who just pay other people to do all their tests for them and all that stuff. But after a while, things catch up with those people and then their whole, house of cards fall. And hopefully you don't find that person before the house of cards fall. So, literally put that aside. And so, when I found myself cleaning out my finances the other day, because at some point, this old guy's going to pass away, and so will you. We all die. Maybe you're like reincarnated. Maybe you go to another life. Maybe you go to a multiverse. I don't know what happens to you, okay? I'm not here to tell you that. Just here on the YouTubes. I know nothing about that. But what I do know is that we all die. It happens. And I don't want to die and have my business records be a mess, my personal finances be a mess, and just people looking at this going, oh, good goodness gracious, if she was still alive, I'd kill her because everything is a mess. And I kind of find myself every year saying, I really need to get that together so that way if something happens to me, okay, well, actually, I have to take this call from this client and I have to send this message and I have to pay this bill. And so it just always kind of falls off track. And I did buy a book that's, you know, the things to do when I'm dead. And I started feeling, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many things that they're asking for and all these bank accounts and investment accounts. And, you know, I don't even know if I have all these accounts. And actually, I think I do have a lot of accounts. Do I know all the numbers of them? And do I want to put all this information into this book? And as I'm going into my accounts, like, oh my gosh, okay, I have to figure out what are all of my retirement accounts. Oh yeah, I think well, I'm just gonna take a moment and clean off my phone. Delete app, delete app, delete. Oh, on my phone, I have all these financial apps. Did I actually open an account with that company? Okay, I guess I should go back and look through all those financial things I was supposed to be focusing on. Okay, I did not open an account with them. So I'm going to delete this app. This one, I'm not sure. I'm going to search my emails. This one, I definitely opened an account. And I have money in this account. I never invest in it. Oh, well, I've got some money here. Do I want to keep this account? I guess at some point I thought I was going to try day trading. Do I have the time in my life right now to really learn how to do day trading? Because YouTube told me it was so easy. It told me it was so easy. Can I do it? No, I don't have the time to be a day trader right now. And I can take the same amount of money and I can just put it in my retirement investments and let it grow there. Transfer money, delete. And so, me taking advice from somebody on YouTube had said, hey, you should open a Webull account. Hey, you should go on Thinkswim and learn how to be a day trader. Use a stop call and all these options. Hey, you should do this, you should do that. And I was eating it up like it was ice cream with fudge sauce on a Sunday night and I'm 5 years old. That sounds really delicious. So you see, I tell myself it's foolish to go and get your education just from YouTube. I would never. Anything that was really important to me, like my health, my life, my finances, I would never just take advice from some person on YouTube who has no credentials, or their only credentials is the fact that they lived through it, or their credentials may be like proof in the pudding they lived through it, but actually when you look at where they're getting money from now, they're getting money for advertising and promoting these things that they're trying to get little people like me to buy or invest in. That's not cool. And so, you know, I started these YouTube videos so I wanted to help people like myself. Maybe they found themselves struggling with this one aspect of the business, or maybe they found themselves struggling with trying to balance life issues. And what qualification do I have other than, well, I lived through it, right? And so I have to be mindful of what am I contributing? And just the general policy of do no harm. Don't let doctors and lawyers have that kind of policy, like do no harm, right? And then I have to ask myself, okay, the information that I share, am I sharing any information that is somehow related to how I make money? The answer is no. No one sponsors my channels. And is it necessarily a bad thing to make money and recommend that thing? Well, you know, not necessarily. It's common like in the food industry or whatever, that if you are going to recommend a restaurant and you're receiving money, you're supposed to say, I do receive money from this company, but I love it all the same. I recommend it, right? And when you think about in the stock industry or in like Bitcoin and stuff like that, it's supposed to be disclosed whether or not you're receiving money from the company that you're recommending. What is your financial stake? And so there are laws in places for certain industries where disclosure is important. But when we look at the world of YouTube education, disclosure isn't always there in the way that it should be. And in the world of our shorts, YouTube shorts, those short videos, I gotta say, hey, they are definitely, I hate to use the word addictive. This is why I'm pausing, because I'm like, I hate to say addictive. They definitely keep you engaged. However, that engagement doesn't necessarily include disclosures. So you can get these quick little sound bites of people saying, you know, this is the best stock, this, that, and the other thing. But that disclosure, it's just not there, right? Because it's just a little snippet. You're supposed to want to find more, but we don't always dig for more. You know, you find the one thing that you were looking for, just like me, trying to figure out, well, how do I use this product? How do I use this software? Find that one thing I'm looking for, and then you move on. We don't always read that message under the video. You know, just know I am invested in this company. So just know that as you're watching my review. And even when people are sharing their affiliate links, do you really stop to process what that means? I mean, on one hand, I say, oh, well, they're an affiliate, and why wouldn't they deserve to make money off of recommending something that they truly believe in? And then we have to pause and go, truly believe in, right? So, for example, there's a chocolate that I adore. I really do love it. And I can't really say it's vegan because they don't list themselves as vegan, and their sugar is organic cane sugar. I don't know how that cane sugar was processed. There's only two ingredients. There's cacao and then there's sugar. And I always get the dark, so then that way there's more chocolate than there is sugar. And so some sugar is burned with bone char and all this stuff. So anyway, I can't say that it's vegan, but I tell myself, well, it's enough that this company has done the things that I feel are important. Now, as a vegan, I should be like, no, this is not labeled vegan. I don't eat this. But I've made like a little exception in my brain. And so isn't that what I'm doing when I take financial advice from someone who's not a financial expert on YouTube, or health advice from someone who's not a doctor on YouTube? With that being said, I've also looked at the health advice of doctors. Who's that doctor? I think it's Dr. Grundy, who's just like, hey, drink a liter of olive oil a week or something ridiculous, and it's going to make you super healthy and smooth poops, and you'll just have the best life ever, and you can, and his ads are all over YouTube. And I remember trying to like get myself to have more olive oil. And I felt like this just can't be good for my body. I mean, I hear what he's saying, but it really can't be good. And I did find it fabulously entertaining to see this cardiologist, heart surgeon, specialist being heavily questioned by two other doctors on YouTube and questioning his science. And so it is crazy because you want to make sure that you are getting your information from a reliable source. And I myself am probably too quick to put my trust into people at times. And my niece, who was saying, oh yeah, you know, you can learn everything on YouTube. yes, this is true. However, I found myself saying to my niece, well, you can't trust everything you learn. And so I say all this because when it comes to business, when it comes to relationships, I think a lot of us want to be trusting. I think we want to trust that that other person will pay their invoice on time, or will show up for dinner like they said. They invited you on a date. They're not just going to stand you up, right? That people have good intentions. And sometimes, even though the most well-meaning people are recommending something because they truly believe in it, they're sharing their knowledge because they truly feel that what they've learned is of value, sometimes we just having that good intention just isn't enough. Sometimes we speak too quickly, right? And to be fair, when we look at the scientific community, there are things that we once thought were truly good for us. A glass of wine a day is heart healthy, right? And after numerous additional studies and more research, it's like, no, that's actually, no, it's not heart healthy at all. Not at all. Not good for you. But we believe what we want to believe. And so the facts, it's not heart healthy, not good for you. A lot of people are going, no, I'm gonna focus on what I went to find, which is that I can have a glass of wine and relax. And I guess I just wanted to find these solutions to what seemed like the keys to living the best life, getting out of debt and being happy with what you have and being productive and not wasting your time on earth. And yeah, I just wound up creating a bigger mess for myself. Just a bigger mess. And so I don't really know what the solution is. I mean, definitely do more research. I guess that's the solution, right? Like, just do more research. And not all from the same source. Because even though I saw like 10 different YouTubers telling me I should get a Webull account, that's not quite the same as me taking the time to get off YouTube and just look through news articles on day trading and success and failure and all that stuff. So it's not enough to check your facts from the same watering hole. Just isn't. The things we learn. Oh, well, I will say I have a number of food videos that I've been trying to get around to editing. Oh my goodness. I have so much stuff I'm going through right now in terms of content and files and things of that nature. And I've really been holding off. Like, when I made this video, I truly believe that this was like the best meal for my body. And now I'm like, no, that was just a tasty meal, but did that contribute to my being bloated or gaining weight or just constantly eating, just like nonstop, like, oh gosh, I think I'm gonna snack on something else. Now, honestly, those meals may have had nothing to do with the things I just mentioned, but it has made me hesitant on, is it okay for me to share this? Should I share this? How do I share it? How do I share it in a way that I am fully disclosing that this isn't what I eat now, without doing it? There's no guarantees, right? Because it is so easy just to skip ahead and be like, just show me the meal. Just show me the meal. Just like this girl, I don't need the whole back history on this software. Just show me where the setting is to change my account number. Boom. So yeah, the things. We share what we know. That's how we all kind of get better. But always do more research. Question what you're learning. Question what you're learning, especially if it's something that affects your health or your finances. Or other people's health and well-being for that matter. But I guess if it's just a video on making chocolate chip cookies, I can just watch that video on chocolate chip cookies and just say to myself, that is a chocolate chip cookie recipe, noted. Not this is going to be the chocolate chip recipe that is going to cure all illnesses. There's a difference. And so with that, my friends, I think the point of this video was, don't just go to a YouTube school, because that's not gonna solve all your problems in life, and it might make more problems. And I did close my Weevil account. I did transfer out the money, and I'm using that money to finish paying off the rest of the paperwork for my divorce. Yay! So I guess I should thank that YouTuber for helping me set aside some money and forget about it for a couple years. Okay, I hope you found this video somewhat humorous, helpful, the things. And until next time, peace.
Thanks for listening. If you think this podcast would help a friend, then please feel free to share it with them. If you want to check out some more Real Ray or just see me hang out with cute dogs, then feel free to visit me over on YouTube. Get Real Ray 4273.